As a longtime veteran of humanitarian relief efforts, John Ging has served in crisis situations from Rwanda to Gaza. Now the Philippines is at the top of his agenda, and he joins me live from New York. First of all, good evening, sir. Thank you for being on the program. And I just want to get the broad picture from you of what's going on the ground. What do people need? What are you able to supply from them to them that you haven't been able to supply in the past couple of days?
Well, there's about 11 million people affected by this super typhoon. The scale of the devastation is quite unprecedented. We are estimating about 670,000 people now homeless and displaced. And the basic needs, it's firstly food, but then it's, of course, clean drinking water, so you need the water purification tablets. They also need shelter. The whole infrastructure, housing, roads, communication, electricity, it's all completely destroyed in so many areas. And that's, of course, presenting us with a major logistical challenge to get to the people. And that's why they're so frustrated that it's taking so long, because it's very difficult to get to them at the speed that we need to get to them and that we want to get to them and that they need us to get to them. But as your reporter Anna shows, we've now mobilized with our partners in the military the air assets, the aircraft, and it'll be helicopters as well that will be the first responders in terms of the transport. We've also got to get these roads cleared, so we've got to get in the heavy clearing equipment to get the routes opened up as well.
And the Secretary General of the UN sent the Undersecretary, Valerie Amos, over to the Philippines to coordinate the efforts and improve them. I just want us to listen in really quick to what she had to say earlier today.
This is a major operation that we have to mount. We're getting there, but in my view, it's far too slow. And part of what I'm here to do is to try to unblock any blockages that there are so that we can scale up our efforts substantially.
What's your response to that? She says far too slow, far too little. What can be done in the short term?
Well, she's absolutely right. She's there on the ground. The most senior UN humanitarian official is actually on the ground with the people, living the experience with them, seeing exactly what the reality is, and then working back from there, pushing the whole system. It's not just the humanitarians on our own. It's working with international partners, as I said, like the large military forces who have these airlift capacities to get it all coordinated and pull it together. That's what we're about now. It's not finger pointing, but really pulling it in together in a way that actually gets out to these people with the supplies that they need to save lives in the first instance and then to stabilize the situation.
Yeah, sure, you're absolutely right. Of course, it's not about finger pointing at this point in time, but of course, we do need to ask. After the Southeast Asian tsunami in 2004, the international community said we need to improve the responses to these disasters. We need to get relief to people faster in a more coordinated way. Did we learn anything from the tsunami 2004? Are we in a better place? Are we better at this now?
I would say that we are better, but we're not good enough. One of the biggest constraints that we have is that we can't fill the warehouses in anticipation of these disasters because we're overstretched worldwide. There are children starving in the Sahel. You look at Syria every day. We are chronically underfunded as a humanitarian community. And then when these natural disasters hit us suddenly, we don't also have the logistical or the supplies to hand. It takes us a couple of days to mobilize, and that's what you're now seeing. But, this is ultimately a matter of resources, and we talk the talk as an international community, but we don't walk the walk when it's putting the resources at the disposal to ensure that we can react instantly when these predictable, but we don't know where they will occur, disasters do occur annually.
We're talking so much about climate change as well. The Philippines are obviously one of the countries most affected by climate change. We see that by this growing occurrence of typhoons. Do countries like the Philippines need to prepare themselves better for disasters like that? We know that we can't turn back climate change immediately, but do they need to do more to move the growing population that's in those areas by the sea out of that area, better house construction? What can be done there? Because I'm sure that the best thing in cases like that is having people stay alive rather than getting killed by such a storm.
You're absolutely right. Preparedness, that's the way to go. That, again, is one of the perennial lessons that we have after every review of every one of these mega disasters. But it does come down to financial resources. The Philippines, as a country, have invested hugely in this, but the scale of what is required is beyond their means. And then they turn to the international community for financial support, and the international community is strapped because of all of the other crises that it's coping with on a daily basis, not to talk about preparing to prevent the consequences of a future crisis. I mean, that, and I hope now out of this disaster that we take a further step forward in helping countries like the Philippines to be better prepared, to move people into places where they won't be as susceptible to this type of catastrophe. I'll also say that right now, when we're all focused on the life-saving here, let's also remember that this is a big problem that will take a long time to recover from, and we should also be thinking about how and who is going to help with the reconstruction of this part of this country. And